Hi, this is RJ with Single Dad Cooking, and today's lesson is going to be about how to properly equip your kitchen with the everyday ingredients, spices, and herbs. So, as a reminder to everybody learning for the first time, you don't have to go overboard and get everything at once. What I'm going to teach you is just a process of accumulation. I mean, it's no wonder that the world was dominated by who controlled the spices, because let's face it, spices are expensive. So always remember, if you can buy any of these spices that I'm going to recommend to you, get them in bulk. It saves money and it will definitely save you time and trips to the store. So I'm going to just go through the basic fundamental of how to properly equip your kitchen, your cupboard, with the everyday spices, the everyday ingredients, and the everyday herbs to make things real simple for your single dad cooking classes. Let's just start off with the standard peppers. I have 3 peppers I like to use. This is your standard coarse ground pepper, and as you can see, I got it in bulk. And again, what makes it coarse, it's not that really small ground type. I like the coarseness of it because if I want to modify my pepper taste, I can of course grind it down a little bit. So I got the coarse peppers, coarse pepper, black pepper. Now, the other 2 peppers I like to have around my kitchen are going to be the crushed red pepper. This is something you always see when people put on pizza dishes. Well, I use it a lot in a variety of dishes. So this is just a small, says it's 1.5 ounce size. And again, I'll probably use it throughout the year. It's something you won't burn through in 1 year. But again, it is one of those things that it's really nice to have around when you want to just put a kick into something. The other thing I've been using a lot of, which is very health conscious as well as heart conscious, is cayenne pepper. I'm told that cayenne pepper is a really good ingredient to mix into a lot of your dishes. Again, as you develop your palate, as well as your children develop a palate to your cooking, cayenne pepper is a great way to just put a little pop in your meals. And it's, of course, this is a small, just under a 2 ounce size, and it's a generic version I got at the supermarket. And again, cayenne pepper. So cayenne pepper, red pepper, coarse black pepper. These are the 3 peppers that I strongly recommend to get started in filling your cupboard. Now, I love to cook a lot of Italian dishes and a lot of Mexican dishes. So no Italian or Mexican dish can go without oregano. And these are oregano leaves. This is not the ground oregano. This is the oregano leaves. It's also an easy plant to grow in most of the western states. I do have some of it wild in my backyard, so if you don't have the availability or you're just too lazy, get the oregano leaves, not the ground. The oregano leaves, great spice to have around for just about all of the dishes I'm going to teach you on Single Dad Cooking. The other 2 dried leaves I like to have always around is the basil leaf. Although it's really great, I'm going to also show you a lot of dishes with fresh basil that you can buy at the store. But the dry basil leaf also works very well on a lot of the dishes we're going to cook. Finally, the generic Italian seasoning blend. This is just a blend of 4 or 5 different leaves, and I'm just going to tell you it says marjoram, thyme, rosemary, sage, oregano, and basil. So there you go. This is nice generic Italian seasoning blend. So between my 3 here, I have oregano, which I have a little larger size because I go through a lot of this. I have Italian seasoning, which is a generic brand, just 4 or 5 different herbs. And I have basil, or basil, whichever way you want to say it. Okay, with that said, I have salts. Since I'm done with my peppers and my herbs, I choose 2 salts. I have sea salt, and I have garlic salt. Now, I choose the garlic salt that has the parsley flakes in it. I like this particular brand, although I'm not suggesting anybody, I'm not being endorsed by this, but I like the Lawry's garlic salt brand. It has a lot of flavor. It's exactly the right amount of garlic flavor I want in my dishes. So I like the Lawry's garlic salt. As far as the sea salt, I have the generic kind, got it in bulk, and again, goes great on a lot of dishes that I need just to just add a little bit of salt to my dish. One of my favorite spices I like to have in my cupboard, and I don't even know what's in it, and I would love to visit the city of Montreal someday and ask somebody there, you know, what does Montreal Steak seasoning mean, but this is another one of these McCormick spices that has a blend of peppers and stuff that no matter what I'm cooking with, when I want to put a Montreal Steak seasoning into something, in my meatloaf, in my stews, it's just got such a great blend. And I'm going to just tell you right now, anybody's taking single dad cooking classes, you're going to use a lot of this. And this is my bulk purchase of the Montreal Steak seasoning mix. This stuff is magic. It is magic for all the stuff that I do my cooking with. I love it. It's got a great blend of peppers in it. And like I said, enough said. I love Montreal Steak seasoning. I've never been to Montreal, but I've got a Toronto shirt on. Okay, dried minced onion. This is just a generic brand of dried minced onion. Just have it in the cupboard. You're going to use it. Another one of those dry things that I like, and I don't even know what's in it, but it says Parmesan cheese. So Parmesan cheese I buy, I'm going to say I use it in a variety of ways. I keep it obviously not in the cupboards. I keep it actually in the refrigerator. And again, it says Parmesan cheese. It's a little 3-ounce size. I mix this in a lot of dishes that I'm going to start doing some breading on, and I'll explain that later on some of the dishes. But Parmesan cheese, again, it just has one of those types of textures and flavors on a dish when you're doing breading. It's just perfect. Now, the two non-essential spices that I strongly recommend because of my particular palate, I like spicy, is I get the regular hot curry powder. This is the yellow brand. There's obviously a brown, there's an orange, and I choose the yellow. Yellow curry is one of my favorites. So yellow curry, this is a generic brand. Any brand will do. Yellow, and it says spicy. There's always levels of curry, so I'm just telling you, I choose medium, and I like to do a lot of curry beef, and that will be one of the dishes I'll show you, but you gotta have some yellow curry in your cupboard. Finally, when I'm cooking a lot of my fish dishes and I want to make a little Cajun style flavored fish dishes, as well as chicken, as well as beef, as well as pork, I can't leave home or have my home without Cajun's Choice blackened seasoning. There's something about the blackened seasoning that this combination of herbs and spices that this guy, my good friend Rick, who runs Cajun's Choice, makes this blend. You got to get some of this and have it in your kitchen. If you don't have it in your fish section, because it's commonly seen in the fish department of most supermarkets, but you can always go to cajunschoice.com, cajunschoice.com, and order it online. It is a great seafood rub, and I also use it on my ribs. I use it on my ribeyes. I use it just about on anything, but it's a great seafood spice to put, and I'm going to show a lot of dishes on that on single dad cooking. Okay, finishing up with all the dry spices and herbs, the three things you got to have in your kitchen as well is breadcrumbs. Just generic breadcrumbs. These are just magic. When you see what I'm going to show you in terms of you're thickening up your sauces or you're doing some breading on some chicken or pork or beef dishes, you got to have some breadcrumbs. The other two items that I strongly recommend that you got to have in your cupboard, along with the breadcrumbs, got to have cornstarch. That's right, cornstarch is universal for thickening any type of sauce that you have obviously made running. Cornstarch doesn't taste like anything. It actually helps thicken sauces, and when we do our cooking together, you'll understand having this around is very important. And finally, light brown sugar. I use a lot of light brown sugar when I'm wanting to sweeten up a dish without it having too much of an effect on the overall composition of what I'm cooking. It's something when I've gone too far and too crazy on the spicy stuff, I need to mellow it out. I'll either use a lemon or brown sugar just to mellow out one of my spicy dishes when I think it's like, it's too hot. I definitely use brown sugar to help sweeten the dish.